Usually, I'm all about justice. But tonight, I'm all about just us. You know that commercial, if you remember 2014. That's my favorite line from that commercial. It's hilarious. And Roman Reigns delivers that perfectly. It's my brother's favorite and my good friend's favorite line from that commercial too. If you're watching this, yeah, it's great. So here we go. Top 5 Royal Rumbles. Number 5 is 1992. This one's very significant. Not just because it's the only Royal Rumble, or the first Royal Rumble, I should say, where the WWE Championship was decided, but it's also the very first Royal Rumble where something of importance was a prize. Before, it was just bragging rights. Yeah, I won the Royal Rumble that year, but nothing happened that led from the Royal Rumble to WrestleMania. And this one really started that. The WWE Championship was on the line after you had The Undertaker win it from Hulk Hogan, but then Hulk Hogan winning it back in a very odd way, and then the WWE president, Jack Tunney, said, you know what, no champion right now is going to be decided at the Royal Rumble. And this one was pretty interesting because you had Ric Flair coming in at number 3 and then going on and winning it. And before, you never had somebody from that early going on to win it. And not to mention, there were quite a few times where it seemed like he was actually going to be eliminated, but he was able to pull it out and win it. Not to mention his speech afterwards when he's holding the title and just with that tear in my eye. This is the greatest day of my life. It was incredible. It was great. Fun Royal Rumble. Set up the WrestleMania championship at WrestleMania. Not to mention, it helped set up Sid versus Hogan at that WrestleMania as well. And that's one thing I kind of missed from back in the day, is that because there were no pay-per-views in between, you just had the TV to help build those matches, and that's all you needed. Whereas that build, I kind of wish we didn't have so many pay-per-views. Actually, not kind of. I do wish we didn't have as many pay-per-views, and we didn't have any pay-per-views in between the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. But that's just a side, and let's get back to this list. Number 4 is 1995. The fastest Royal Rumble around. 1 minute this time. Usually it's a minute and a half, 2 minutes. This time it was 1 minute. Boom, 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 boom. It was pretty cool. Pamela Anderson at ringside watching it. Looking back, you can kind of see she's not as into it as some other celebrities have been into wrestling events. You know, like Mike Tyson or Floyd Money Mayweather. But she was always cool to look at. But she looked like she wasn't enjoying it as much as other celebrities have. But the match itself was kind of cool. You had a lot of young wrestlers and mixed with some old wrestlers as well. And it's the first Royal Rumble where number 1 and number 2 make it from the beginning all the way to the end under the last 2 standing. And it truly established the Shawn Michaels rule, which they ended up saying in 2002, which is both feet have to hit the floor, and you have Shawn Michaels holding on to the top rope, kicking and kicking, trying to get up, and then finally getting on back in. They even play the British Bulldog music to signify he won, but all of a sudden Michaels jumps in, knocks him off the top rope, and he wins. And he was like, wait a minute, they didn't get eliminated? But instant replay, he just showed the replay, and the announcer, Howard Finkel, said the referee said only one of Shawn Michaels' feet touched the floor. And when you see the replay, 2 referees are right there seeing it, and it truly established both feet have to hit the ground. Great Royal Rumble, a lot of fun. I had to put it on this list, so I had to put it on this list. Number 3 is 2010. This one I saw with my brothers, and it's kind of fascinating because we went into this one wanting Shawn Michaels to win it because he was having this rivalry with The Undertaker, wanting to challenge The Undertaker again at WrestleMania. But Undertaker saying, no, I'm not fighting you just because you want it. And Shawn Michaels saying, well, then I'll just win the Royal Rumble. And then I was like, all right, we've never had the Undertaker defend the championship at WrestleMania. Let's see it. But then something fascinating happened, and it was fantastic. Number 29, and we are counting down like we always do to 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then Edge's music hit. You think you know me. And my brother, who was and still is a giant Edge fan, he jumps out of his seat and is like, holy crap, you gotta be kidding me. And he is all excited. He's ecstatic that Edge is back after an injury the previous year. And then he doesn't sit down the rest of the Rumble. Yes, it's fast and furious, but that right there was like that always is highlight for me of watching the Royal Rumble. Not to mention this is the second Royal Rumble where you had a woman participate. There were quite a few eliminations, and you saw Shawn Michaels' desperation to win it in order to face The Undertaker, and his shock when he's eliminated by Batista, and his emotions. This is what they always like about the best wrestlers, to me, are able to express their emotions and show how they feel. Because without the emotion, you don't care about the match. So this was a fantastic Royal Rumble, and it had to be number 3. Number 2 is 2006. Speaking of emotion, Rey Mysterio, you can just feel the emotion. Even now when you rewatch it, you feel the emotion. He comes out to his music, and he comes out in a lowrider as a tribute to his good friend Eddie Guerrero. Eddie Guerrero died, I believe, the previous October, and they were always really close. And I didn't really like the rivalry because it felt like they shouldn't have been rivals, and the way they did it, that's a topic for another day. But when he came to the Rumble, you can just see the passion, the emotion, even through the mask, you can feel it. And when he finally wins the Rumble, he's basically he's looking up at the sky. Eddie! It's like you can feel the emotion. Even now, I can feel the emotion. And Michael Cole, who gets a lot of crap from internet idiots about how bad of an announcer he supposedly is, he is perfect right here when he goes from a small rundown church in Tijuana, Mexico, and his first wrestling match to this day. And it was perfectly well done, and it set up perfectly for him to go on to WrestleMania to become world champion. It was a fantastic Rumble, and he set the record for the longest time in the Rumble with 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 12 seconds. It's a great Rumble, but there's just one other Rumble I had to put just above it, and that is 2007. I know some of you are just going to say, oh, it's because you're an Undertaker fan. Kind of, but that's not all it is, okay? I'm a giant Undertaker fan. But this match is interesting because of the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels at the end. Just like with 2008, and I mentioned in my Undertaker retrospective that this was the appetizer. I was like, oh, we want to see them wrestle again, because they had not wrestled against each other for almost a decade from that point. And then now you see them have this short 7-minute match in the middle of the Rumble. This is the longest time that the last two men wrestled in the match before somebody was eliminated. It was like a good 7 minutes. And that was it was great. Not to mention, it was in San Antonio, Texas, Shawn Michaels' hometown. The crowd was just fantastic. So when a crowd is really great, it adds to the match, and this was a good time for that. Not to mention, what happened before was pretty cool. You see the different wrestlers trying to establish themselves. Not to mention, when Shawn Michaels first shows up, the crowd just goes crazy. And the Great Khali, who was at this point still seen as a major threat, just tossing men over the top rope left and right, knocking them down, and just laying the waste to everybody around. And then The Undertaker shows up, and it's an uphill battle for him at first, and then he eliminates him. The crowd just goes crazy, and it's a great way to how The Undertaker established himself just at the first 30 seconds. And it's the first Royal Rumble where somebody comes in at number 30 and wins it. JBL even says in the Rumble, but nobody has ever come in at number 30 and won it. It's a great Royal Rumble. Not to mention it's the best ending to a Royal Rumble I've seen because it goes 7 minutes and these two men basically have a short wrestling match in the middle of the Royal Rumble. And it sets up for us to want to see them wrestle again, which we got a little bit of at 2008, and then we had two fantastic matches at WrestleMania. I mean, 5, 6, 7-star matches. No matter what, those are fantastic matches. So that's my list. What do you think? What's your favorite Royal Rumble? Let me know. And are you excited to see this year's Royal Rumble? I'll probably watch it and do a review on it. Depends how I feel about it. And so that's all I got. Stay tuned for what other videos I have coming up next. Take care. Bye.